Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks 40k channel and welcome to our latest Horus Heresy battle report. Today the Raven Guard take to the battlefield fresh from the massacre of Isstvan V. The Primarch himself, Corax, leading out his sons against Mortarion and the evil Death Guard, who are on unstoppable rampage and carnage campaign against any outlying Imperial planets. So today's mission we're doing War of Lies. See victory points for killing off units or units falling back, but there's also 6 objective markers down, and these are worth possibly different amounts because you've got to roll d6 at the end of the game. So the 6 objective markers that are down is the first objective markers down is here by the fuel dump, second deep into the deployment zone here behind the Imperial bunker, next one in the middle of the battlefield. Fourth is here in the broken ruins of the Administratum building. Fifth is round the side of the ruined fortification. And the final one is here in between the 2 Manufacturian buildings, hiding behind the Agelus lines. True to the Raven Guard, we've got a 5-man veteran squad, and included in this there is a Master of Signal. These guys are equipped with a melter and they will be riding around the battlefield in a Rhino, and it is exactly the same loadout for the next 2 veteran squads, melters, 5-man in Rhinos. Over to Elite, we've got a Contemptor Mortis with the las cannon arms. Such a nice miniature for the Raven Guard. And next elite choice, we have a squad of Mordathans, all equipped with Combi Plaz. Over to fast attack, we have got a Javelin Speeder. This is equipped with a melt gun and las cannons. We have got a squad of Dark Furies, and these are all equipped with the Raven's Talons. HQ for the Raven Guard, the Primarch himself is taken to the battlefield. Corax himself is in charge of all of his sons, seeing off the Death Guard today. Troops for the Death Guard today, we have a 5-man veteran squad. These guys will be in a Rhino. Ed, that's a really nice Rhino. How have you made that? Second troop choice, we've got a 5-man veteran squad. Again, riding around in a brand new Rhino for the Legion. Over to Elites, we've got a Mortis Contemptor Dreadnought equipped with 2 Keras Assault Cannons. We also have a Sakaran tank with autocannons and las cannons, which is heavy support. And another heavy support choice, we have got the Scorpius Whirlwind to rain fire down on the former brothers of the Death Guard. HQ for the Death Guard today, we've got the Death Shroud Terminators all equipped with their scythes, and with them there will be a Primus Medicae, and they will be riding around in the heavy support choice of a Spartan, coming with its las cannons and its heavy bolters, but they will also be accompanied by Mortarion today. So the Lord of Doom and Destruction, the Reaper himself, takes to the battlefield. The first of the Death Guard Rhinos and the Contemptor Dreadnought are on the left-hand side of the battlefield, just on one of the objectives, and they are being supported by the might of the Spartan and the contents inside. You can't beat a Spartan with a Primarch in. They are pretty much in the centre of the battlefield, and it's quite an open space, so they'll be able to move forward, get out and get into assault quite quickly. Scorpius Whirlwind and the Sakaran are buried down towards just off centre of the battlefield really, but they've got again nice lines of sight to be able to land their templates and put their fire down. And then finally on the right hand side of the battlefield for the Death Guard, we have the one other Rhino, again sitting on objective, engine ticking over, waiting for the orders to come through the Voxnet. The Mordatans have infiltrated up on one of the objectives, ready to move across the rubble of the orbital bombardments that have been coming down with the Rhinos and the Contemptor Dreadnought in their sights. They have got in support, they've got a Rhino kind of facing off against a Spartan, but following them up you have got the Dark Furies, and again supported by Corax. On the left-hand side of the battlefield, we've got the Javelin Speeder, one of the other rhinos that has infiltrated forward, the Contemptor Dreadnought, and finally the other rhino for the Raven Guard. As these two armies face off and head towards each other, I think it's going to be a bloody affair. The Mordathans have infiltrated and then scouted and then moved, which I think is quite cheeky, but they're now moving up the board toward the objective. The Rhino, the Dark Furies, and the Primarch himself have all started their advance up the battlefield. The Javelin has come around and is looking at supporting them this side. I think they're looking at popping the Spartan and the Rhino round here, trying to get the contents of them out. The two Rhinos have moved up 12 inches. They're trying to get within melt range of the Death Guard vehicles. The Mordathan have opened up with their plasma guns, and they've also used the Fatal Strike trait that they come with, so it basically makes their plasmas twin-linked and rending and horribleness. They opened up at the Contemptor Dreadnought and got 4 penetrating hits. 2 of them went through the shield, took off 2 hull points and removed 1 of the arms, so it's only got 1 of its Chaos Assault Cannons left. The Javelin opened up at the Spartan tank, removing another hull point. This thing with its flare shield is an unmovable object, really. This thing is quite horrible. The other real note for this turn was the Contemptor Dreadnought, all the way down on the far side of the battlefield, opened up at the Rhino, glancing twice. So really unfortunate not to destroy that Rhino. It's got 1 hull point left. And then finally, the Dark Furies have ran forward 6 inches. Now, they get that for free because a certain person is on the battlefield. So they are now really, really heading down towards the Spartan, trying to pop it and bring out Mortarion. The Rhino on the left-hand side of the battlefield has moved back. He has seen the incoming danger of the Dark Furies and the rest of the Raven Guard, so the driver has put it into reverse. I don't blame him. Contemptor Dreadnought is immobilised. The Spartan has moved up. It has dropped its cargo off Mortarion, and the Death Shroud Terminators are here. They are right in the face of the Dark Furies, and they are right in the face of Korax. Scorpius Whirlwind and the Sakaran have stayed still, and the other Rhino, the one that took 2 hull points and got shaken a little bit inside, well, the shots from the Contemptor Dreadnought, has moved round the back of the building. Really don't blame him. He has got 2 Rhinos coming down towards him. So it's a little bit reactive from the Death Guard. The Sakaran opened up at the Javelin Speeder, removing all the hull points and basically blowing it up sky high. Some good shooting from the gunners within inside this tank. The Spartan split its las cannon fire. The one on the right hand side opened up at the Raven Guard Rhino towards the middle of the battlefield, removing a hull point. The left hand Sponson opened up at the Rhino with the Master of Signals in, destroying it. They all survived the resulting explosion, but the Scorpius Whirlwind managed to get its ordnance right on target. Master Signal soaked up most of the damage, but unfortunately the Melter guy was pulled down in the explosion. The Dark Furies have been whittled down a little bit. 4 of them have died, and that all came from the fire of the Contemptor Dreadnought. It's over to assault. The Death Guard Terminators, the Mortarion and the Prima Medicate are going to be going in, sweeping their way in, and it's going to be Primarch versus Primarch. In the fight of the Primarchs, of the brother on brother, it is a wound for Mortarion and 2 wounds on Korax. Ed got lucky with some of his rolls on the saves for Mortarion, but there's a lot of damage being done. In the other fight that's going on at the same time between the Dark Furies and the Death Shroud, the Dark Furies had 3 of their members pulled down, but they managed to kill off 1 of the Death Shroud Terminators, so it goes on for another turn. There are reinforcements that could join into the fight if needed. The the Rhinos have dropped off their cargo of the Space Marines that are inside. Both of them have moved up and have got out. So these guys are looking at heading towards this objective. And the second squad looking at bolstering their numbers. The Dreadnought in the corner has actually stayed still for the Raven Guard, but he's got some good juicy targets of the Scorpius and the Sakaran ready for his las cannons to hit home. On this side, the squad that were blown out of the Rhino have moved up and are looking at joining their father, their Primarch, in combat. The Mordathans are looking at the objective that is just to the side of them. The Contemptor Dreadnought right in the back lines of the Raven Guard opened up at the Scorpius Whirlwing, doing one hull point. The Mordathans made it into combat with the Contemptor Dreadnought. The Overwatch shots went wide and they all made it in. Melt Bomb doing the damage to the Contemptor Dreadnought. He is gone. He is out of hull points. So these guys are now free to possibly come this way or consolidate themselves onto the objective. Over to the important fight. Down here, the Master of Signal and his squad made it into combat. They lost 2 from the Death Shroud Terminators and 1 more Dark Fury was pulled down. But Ed has lost 2 more of his Death Shroud Terminators. And Primarch on Primarch. There is no wounds done to Mortarion, but there is 1 more wound done to Corax. So he is down to 3. So the Death Guard Rhino on the left-hand side of the battlefield has backed up. He has just seen the Contemptor Dreadnought going pop and boom across the field. He's going to be laying down some shots, I'm sure, on these guys, trying to whittle them all down. The Spartan has moved round. He's identified the threat of this side of the battlefield with all the Raven Guard tactical squads on. Basically because there isn't much here, because once again the other Rhino has moved back. It is trying to move away as quickly as it can from the Raven Guard. And also the Sakaran this turn has moved up. Its guns are trained and looking nicely at the Raven Guard. The Sakaran opened up at the Raven Guard Mordathan squad, killing off 2. The Spartan that had moved round opened up with its quad las cannons on the Rhino that was here, blowing it sky high. The Scorpius actually opened up with its shells at this squad here, but they scattered forward and hit the Rhino, taking off 2 hull points, and it is now immobilised, so it's down to 1. These guys are looking at probably getting up and over the barrier and onto this objective. As we head into assault, we still have the small matter of Primarch versus Primarch. The Death Shroud Terminators have put their hits onto the Dark Furies, killing off the remaining 2. There was also some hits put on the Veteran Tactical Squad, and 1 more has died from that squad for only 1 wound done back. They have passed their morale check, so the Tactical Squad are standing firm. In the Primarch fight, there was no wounds done on either side, so these 2 guys are still hitting it out. It's a little bit of a slobber knocker. Mortarion has grown a wound back at the end of this turn. The Mordathan squad have moved around, securing the first of their objectives. They are sitting strong on that at the moment. There is a Death Guard Rhino behind them with a squad of 5 men in, so they have got to be very, very cautious of that, and also the fire that will be coming down from a Scorpius Whirlwind. The 2 Raven Guard tactical squads that have come out of the Rhinos are now on their march up for their objective as well. So the first squad have jumped over the defence lines and the other squad are just behind them. It's not much movement to happen this turn. The 2 veteran tactical squads have ran. These guys automatically run 6 inches because they're Raven Guard. So they are now right up onto the objective. Down here, the Contemptor Dreadnought at the back of the battlefield opened up at the Scorpius Whirlwind all the way down here. No damage done whatsoever, and that was it for shooting. Then into assault down here. The Mordathan squad made it into combat with the Rhino down here. They expertly put a melt bomb on, taking off a hull point, and this is now crew stunned. So next turn, it should be easier to get the melt bomb on. Hopefully destroy it if Ed decides not to get his veteran tactical squad out. In the important combat down here, the rest of the Dark Furies have fallen, and so has the Master of Signal and the one remaining veteran, leaving the Primarch on his own. Corax has taken another couple of wounds, so he's down to one left. Mortarion is untouched, and so are the Death Shroud Terminators and the Primary Medicae. It's not looking good for the Raven Guard Primarch. The Rhino that was on the right hand side of the battlefield has pretty much just given up on the objective that the Raven Guard are now claiming and has backed up a little bit further. The Sakaran has moved round. He has got his sights cleanly set on the Contemptor Dreadnought for the Raven Guard that has been laying down lots of fire. The Scorpius has obviously stayed still, but its sights are cleanly set on clearing off this objective with the Raven Guard on it. Spartan has moved back the way it came, looking at throwing all of its fire on the Raven Guard that tried to melt bomb the Rhino last turn. And with that in mind, the veteran tactical squad have also gone out from the Death Guard, and they are looking at laying down their bolt of fire here as well. The Scorpius Whirlwind has opened up with its shell. It went over the top of the building, landing cleanly on top of the Raven Guard tactical squad, holding on to the objective, killing off 3 of them. 2 of them still survive. There is obviously one squad completely untouched. The Sakaran battle tank opened up at the Contemptor Dreadnought, doing no damage whatsoever. So this guy is literally holding his own and holding on to the Raven Guard lines. The Mordathan squad have taken fire from the veteran tactical squad that came out of the Rhino, and also the Spartan. 4 of them were pulled down in the resulting fire. The remaining 4 brothers have failed their morale check and have headed back 7 inches, so they are currently in the middle of the crater. They are going to rally, turn around and shoot the veteran squads in the face. Corax initiated his Shadow Walk this turn, so it was -1 off the ability to hit him. So Mortarion was hitting on 5s, he got a couple of hits. He needed 3s to wound and rolled a 1, so Mortarion did no damage. And neither did any of the other Death Guard that are locked in combat. So Corax survives, he is on 1 wound. With a quick flick of the switch and initiation of his jetpack, Corax has disappeared off the board and gone into ongoing reserves. There's a look of confusion on Mortarion's face to where his brother has just disappeared off to. The Mordathan squad did not rally this turn, and they have ran back another 5 inches. It might actually work out to their advantage, because if they do rally, they are literally quite close to an objective. The 2 remaining veteran tactical squads have jumped over the Prometheus pipelines. They got 6 inches on the difficult terrain, so they have moved back. There is an objective in the deployment zone for the Raven Guard, so they are looking now at heading back and holding that one. The other tactical squad have spaced themselves out to save themselves from the fire that will come down from the Scorpius, and they are also holding on to an objective. The 2 Raven Guard from the veteran tactical squad have ran forward. Now, they've been getting their 6-inch guaranteed because Corax was on the board, but now he has disappeared. They have to roll for it like normal Marines, and Amy rolled a 1. So it's a 1-inch run move from these guys. Contemptor Dreadnought has opened up with his 2 twin-lit las cannons at the Scorpius Whirlwind. He has managed to get 1 penetrating hit, so it's down to 1 hull point, and is now crew stunned, so it will not be firing its blast weapon this turn, much to the relief of the veteran tactical squad hiding behind the building, holding the objective. The Rhino that has been reversing all game is still in reverse. He's backing up towards the objective. The driver of this vehicle doesn't feel that he needs to turn around. Mortarion and the remaining Death Shroud Terminators have got back inside of the Spartan, and the Spartan is now heading up, looking at dominating and controlling the right-hand side of the battlefield. And the veteran tactical squad that got out of the Rhino on the left-hand side of the battlefield are now heading up towards the other objective. They are now kind of ignoring the Raven Guard that are constantly falling back. They have got their own orders across the Voxnet to hold on to the objective that's in front of them. The Death Guard veteran squad have opened up at the Medathan squad that were falling back, killing off another 2. So there's literally only 2 alive now. The Rhino that is hell-bent on driving backwards everywhere has gone flat out and headed up another 6 inches towards the objective. Finally, the Sakharin, even though it has got a beautiful line of sight at the Contemptor Dreadnought there in the distance, failed to do any damage whatsoever. Corax is now back on the board. He's back on for his sons. He has chosen the sensible option and he's come on behind the ruins of the fortress. So he has got lots of cover. With only 1 wound left, you do not want to give away the extra victory point for losing your Primarch. The 2 remaining Mordathans have rallied and they are now holding on to this objective. They might have to weather some fire, but hopefully they will survive and claim this one for the name of the Emperor. These 2 remaining tactical veteran squad members have moved up their 6 and they have also ran as well. But because Corax is back on the board, they get their full 6-inch run move, so they have moved 12. They're now back in their own deployment half and they are very, very close to securing an objective. So to sum up the shooting phase for the Raven Guard, not a lot happened. The 2 Mordathan guys have opened up at the Veteran Tactical Squad, no damage done. The Contemptor Dreadnought opened up at the Scorpius Whirlwind, no damage done. So the only thing of note to happen this turn was that Corax has grown a wound back. The Spartan has moved around, dropping off the Death Shroud Terminators and the Prima Medicae, who are now holding on to one of the objectives, which they can do because of Implacable Advance. They're also kind of teasing Corax. Can they get him to join them in combat? Will he be weak enough to fall for their little tricks and their little ploys? The Veteran Tactical Squad on the left-hand side of the battlefield have moved up and have also secured an objective this turn. The Rhino that has been going backwards all game has finally gone in a different direction. It's gone sideways. So there is a Veteran Tactical Squad inside of this Rhino and they are now super close to another objective. And the only other thing to move is one of Ed's patented little wiggles with his Sakharin. The Scorpius Whirlwind has opened up on the Veteran Tactical Squad, holding on to the objective in the Death Guard deployment zone, killing off 1. The veteran sergeant tanked them all with his artificer armour, so they're still alive and are still holding on to the objective. The Sakharin has opened up at the Contemptor Dreadnought. It's done it a few times this game. Finally, it has destroyed it. It has penetrated and blown it sky high. The only other thing to happen this turn was the Spartan tank has opened up with its quad las cannons and its heavy bolters at the Mordathan squad, killing off 1 of them. 1 is still alive and he has passed his morale check, so he is all good to carry on holding this objective. The Raven Guard veteran squad have moved onto this objective, securing Amy this one for the end of the game. As has the other veteran squad, they are also now securing the Raven Guard another objective. The 1 remaining Mordathan squad member has gone into the ruins of the old fortification. He is also securing an objective, and Corax has moved back. He's trying to get out of the way of the Spartan and any fire that will be coming his way. He wants to survive this battle. For the Raven Guard, there will be no shooting. However, at the end of the turn, Corax has grown a wound back. So this is it. This is the final turn for the Death Guard. They have moved their Sakharin up 12 inches. It is a fast vehicle. They will be able to fire 1 of their weapons at the tactical squad holding onto this objective. And there is also the chance of the Scorpius opening up at these guys as well. The 3rd and final veteran squad have got out of their Rhino. They are now holding on to the objective into the centre of the battlefield. So there is currently 1 for the Death Guard, 2 for the Death Guard, 3 with the Terminators holding on to that one there, and it is 1, 2, 3 for the Raven Guard currently as well. So we're equally matched on objectives. The Spartan, however, has moved up 6 inches. Mortarion is back out onto the field. He is standing right by the side of this objective marker. What's he going to do? Is he going to go into combat with the Mordathan, or is he more likely going to go into combat with his brother? So Karen and the Scorpius Whirlwind have opened up on the veteran tactical squad down here, killing off 2 of them. The sergeant is still alive. He's still holding on to this objective, and he has passed a morale check. The Spartan has opened up at the one remaining Mordathan guy that was on top of the ruins and pulled him down. Jeff is dead. And then Mortarion. Mortarion passed his leadership and has ghosted. He is all the way round here, very, very close to his former brother. It looks like there is going to be one final round of combat. Mortarion has made it into combat, but Korax has enabled his shadow warp, so -1 to the hits. They both swung at each other very, very ferociously, but both missed. So there is no damage done here. So that is the end of the battle. It is currently 9 victory points to 1 to the Death Guard, but we have to work out what the victory points are for each of these objectives that are held. So the first objective we're going to sort out is down here. So there will be 1 dice rolled. If Ed gets a 1, there's no victory point. 2 to 3, it's 1 victory point. 4, 2 victory points. 5, 3 victory points. But if he rolls a 6, it is minus D3 victory point. Ed, can you roll that, please? It's a 6. It is minus D3 victory points. It's 1, so Ed is now on 8. Second objective we're going to resolve is the one in the middle of the battlefield. It's another 6. Ed, seriously. So it's another D3 minus victory points. It's another 1, so Ed is now down to 7. And then the third and final objective we're going to resolve is the one that's held by the Death Shroud Terminators. And it's 2. So that is an extra victory point. So Ed finishes the game on 8. The first of the objectives we're going to resolve is the one with the 1 remaining veteran tactical squad. So Amy, if you want to roll me your dice. It's a 4. So that is 2 victory points. So the Raven Guard are currently on 3. And then the second and final objective for the Raven Guard is the one in their own 9s with the 2 veteran squads. And it's a 4, so that is another 2 victory points. So the Raven Guard finish on 5. So there we go then, guys. That is the end of the game. After all the objectives have been resolved, it finishes 8-5 to the Death Guard. They are victorious today on this battlefield. The hatred between these 2 brothers will continue for another day. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave us a like. It does really help out the channel. Leave us a comment. It'd be great to hear your feedback. And why not subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we will see you on the next one.